you comb or brush your beard too much? I know that I'm guilty of doing that. I have a feeling that probably at least 75, 80%, if not more, of the guys out there with beards probably are guilty of over grooming their beards. I want to talk a little bit about that in today's video, talk about maybe why we do it and maybe some alternatives, some food for thought, at least about trying to be mindful of how often we groom our beards and some better habits we can get into. Okay, so that's the topic for today's video. And welcome back to my Beards and Banjos YouTube channel. My name's Brian, and we try to help you grow your best beard possible. So if you're interested in that kind of content, please consider subscribing. And we're just kind of doing a little vlog activity today here, talking about combing or brushing your beard too much. I think that, especially as you're growing out your beard for the first time, I mean, it's changing the shape of your face. You've got the flyaways. You are trying to train it. You're doing everything you can to try to make it look as presentable as possible. Also, it's front and center, right? I mean, people mess with their face all the time anyway. That's what you look at when you first time you see yourself in the mirror. That's what draws your eye to it, especially because it's new for you if you're growing out your beard for the first time. And it's definitely good to groom your beard, right? You can exfoliate your skin. You can spread through the natural oils. When you use your beard products, it helps spread them through. But once it gets to a certain length, and especially depends on your beard type, if it's really curly, you don't really need to be combing through it the entirety of your beard all the time. You probably just need to stick to like when you get out of the shower and when you're applying products. But other than that, you don't really need to be combing all this stuff underneath. What point does it serve? Right? If you're just trying to shape your beard, the best two tools in your toolbox are these, all right? Because you can just worry about those flyaways. And other than that, you probably shouldn't be combing all the way through your beard very often. I'm curious. Let me know in the comments how often you comb your beard, especially being home during COVID. Like every time I walk in the bathroom, I mess with my beard. It's probably not a good idea to do that. Definitely not as bad as what it used to be when I first grew my beard out. So if you do over comb your beard and groom it too often, especially if it's really curly, it can damage it, right? Just think about you got a fishing line. You're throwing that lure out, you're reeling it in, you're dragging it over stuff. The more it touches things, the more gnarly it gets, right? It gets little nicks and micro abrasions that you can't see. The same kind of thing, and it's a little bit of a different scenario, but the same kind of thing can happen with your beard. So you want to be very mindful of that. Like I said, you want to stay with gentle things. So the beard products can help because you get a little bit of a coating on it. But if you start to damage your beard, the products aren't going to be as effective. Your beard's not going to feel it soft. You're going to have that kind of gnarly, kind of crunchy, rough feeling to your beard. You're going to have to use super duper conditioners to try to help coat stuff. So you need to be very mindful of that. And as I said before, probably the two best things is just use your hands, and you're just worried about the outside of your beard. I don't carry around a comb anymore. I probably did for the first 2 years I had a beard, and mostly it ended up being, at least after it got to a certain length, it was just for this mustache. But once I've now got it trained and trim it strategically so it doesn't bother me. You may think it does, but it doesn't really bother me anymore. Don't have any issues with that. I stopped carrying this comb, which means I can go, 8-10 hours and not really mess with my beard very much. Yeah, I'll do this number right on the outside because this is the part that bothers me, these flyaways here, because that's the part that you see when you're looking in the mirror. If you got flyaways here, you can't see it because unless you turn profile. I think that's the other thing, right? If you got cowlick in the back of your head, you can't really see it, so you're not messing with it all the time. I do think it's okay to comb your mustache more. For some reason, your mustache hairs seem to be a little bit straighter than your beard hairs, especially the underbeard. There's really not a whole lot of reasons to be combing through your underbeard multiple times throughout the middle of the day, combing everything out and starting over. And also, the more you comb your beard, the more static it puts in it, and it actually actually makes it more curly in a lot of ways. If you think about a ribbon that you put friction on it with a ribbon and you go straight out with it, the ribbon ends up curling more. Okay, that's how they actually put ribbons on presents at Christmas time and those kind of things. So be very mindful of that. So I want you to think about that a little bit. Let me know in the comments, do you feel like you comb or brush your beard too much? Have you ever noticed any damage with it? Your beard hair is very different than your head hair. So you want to be very careful on that. So that's really about all I have for you in this video. In my next little vlog, we're going to talk about which one might be better, a comb versus a brush. Which one I use mostly, and I do use all different types of combs and brushes. And by the way, I'll put some links down in the description here of some of the ones I use the most, but we'll go into more detail on the next video and kind of talk about my reasonings on the choices I make, and then what I think you should consider when you go to pick up a brush or a comb. All right, so hopefully this gives you a little bit of food for thought and maybe back away a little bit from the all of the grooming of your beard every time you go and look in the mirror, every time you go to the bathroom, because we're all guilty of it, but I do think your beard will stay healthier if you don't groom it quite so often. So as always, I appreciate you guys watching, and stay tuned for that next video coming soon.